Now we will talk about the literary and philosophic activities which has been performed during the time of ancient India. Now when it comes to literary activities, we discussed during the time of Indus Valley civilization or during the time of art and architecture that literary activities has been performed in more comprehensive and extensive way during the time of post Indus Valley time. But during the time of post IVC, architectural activities was minimum or nearly absent, but literary activities has been performed extensively. Over the period of time, different scripts, different languages used the development of literary activities. Even during the time of Indus Valley, might be certain literature which has been written, but we are not yet to be deciphered. Clear? So, in that sense, what we can say, the beginning of literary activities in India started from Vedic age. And when it comes to Vedic age, it is it will include the period of Rig Veda to the fourth Ved, Atharva Ved, or from early Vedic period to later Vedic period. So that particular period, whatever literature which has been written during this particular time is being the Vedic literature. Now this particular literature can be considered as religious. Why so? Because majority of them has to is being discussing with the Vedas, the way of life, the way of worship. Clear? So in that sense, Vedic literature is a simple literature which has been derived from Vedas, and Ved literally mean to know, janana. The more and more knowledge needs to be acquired. That is what the literary meaning of Veda. Clear? So when it comes to Vedic literature, it consists of four elements or four components are there in Vedic literature. Ved, Brahman, Aranyak, and Upanishad. This type of questions will be asked in your UPSC examination, that which of the following does not include in वैदिक लिटरेचर एंड इनमें से किसी एक की जगह वेदांग दे देंगे. क्लियर? कुछ फिलॉसफी दे देंगे या फिर उपवेद दे देंगे. क्लियर? सो दीज टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स कैन बी आस्क्ड बिकॉज इट इज बीइंग आस्क्ड ऑलरेडी इन यूपीएससी. पहले पूछा जा चुका है, दोबारा पूछा जा सकता है. सो यू नीड टू रिमेंबर दिस. वैदिक लिटरेचर में क्या क्या आता है? Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyak, and Upanishad. Clear? Now, when it comes to Vedas, in Vedas we are having how many Vedas? 4 Ved we are having. Clear? Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, and Atharva Ved. Clear? Out of those 4 Vedas, 3 Vedas are called as Vedatrayi. They are called as Vedatrayi. Rig Ved, Sam Ved and Yajur Ved. These 3 Ved, इन 3 वेदों को मिला के क्या बनता है? वेद त्रयी. And the 4th Ved, Atharva Ved, is considered to be added later on. Clear? So it is not a part of Ved Trayi. Another factual portion which is important from your prelims point of view. Clear? So Ved Trayi में Rig, Sam and Yajur. Atharva is later addition. And sometimes Natya Shastra, which is being written by Bharat Muni, is considered as 5th Ved because of the extensiveness and the comprehensiveness of Natya Shastra. So, it is considered रिमेंबर द वर्ड कंसीडर, माना जाता है नहीं। क्लियर? सो वेद आज भी चार ही है, पांचवा वेद माना जाता है इसे, नाट्य शास्त्र को। ओके, सो दैट इज अबाउट द वैदिक लिटरेचर। Now we'll discuss all of them in detail. So to begin with, the earliest Ved, Rig Ved. So when it comes to Rig Ved, it is oldest among all the Ved, सबसे पुराना है, clear? And some of the earliest hymns is considered to be composed around 1500 BCE. Clear? 1500 BCE means the time when Aryans came to India. Clear? This was the time, if we go back into dates, Indus Valley civilization, clear? It was having mature phase from 2400 BC to 1800 BC. After it, there was the declining phase, declining IVC from 1800 to 1500 BC. And 1500 BC was the time when the Vedic age starts. Clear? And some of the hymns of Rig Veda is considered to be composed during this particular time itself. Man means when the Aryan people migrated to India, they started composing while settling as well. Clear? So that's why Rig Veda is the oldest one. Clear? And it is the foundation. Overall, Rig Veda is divided in 10 mandals. In present day, we are having one book which is divided into various chapters. Similarly, Rig Veda is divided into 10 mandals. These mandals are having different hymns. बहुत सारे इसमें भजन कह लो, मंत्र कह लो, ठीक है, which is being attributed to various gods. Clear? Overall, there are 1028 hymns. Clear? So that is what about the Rig Vedas. Now, it is not historical. Why? Because composition of mantras has been done. It is not heroic. It is just a way of worship where mantras is being composed by a particular saint, and that particular saint composed a mantra in for a particular god. So historical, it was not there that some historical figure was there and the mantras or hymns has been attributed to that particular historical figure. Neither it is the heroic. Clear? Heroism is not being showed. Clear? What is showed here? The manner in which the saints or the seers were having the worship. Clear? In that sense, it is having a composition hymns from priestly families. And we have discussed it previously as well that the hymns or during Rig Veda, mantras has been attributed or worship has been conducted for material benefits. And that material benefit is being asked from the prominent gods Indra, Agni, Varun. They were the prominent gods. Their mantras were written in these Vedas. Clear? And when it comes to the gods, they have been invoked for various purposes. That more than 250 is attributed to Indra, 200 to Varun, and somewhere around 30, 35 to Varun. Okay, so that is what the number of mantras attributed to these gods. Now, when it comes to mandals, Rig Veda is divided into various mandals in number 10. And when it comes to 10 mandals, out of these 10, from 2 to 7, Mandal number 2 to 7 is being considered as the earliest composition. सबसे पहले ये बनाए गए. Clear? And the last mandal जो सबसे latest, सबसे last में बना, वो था 10th mandal. Clear? इसलिए नहीं कि वो language 10th है इसलिए सबसे last है. Clear? It is being composed during the last. And how we come to know about this? The language, the way of writing, the other mandals is different from that of the 10th mandal. Clear? From the mandal from 2 to 7, they are called as family mandals. Again, factual information for your prelims examination. They are called as family mandals. And why they are called as family mandals? Because these mandals has been composed by a particular saint and his family or his group. Clear? Either the followers, mainly the followers living in the same ashram, or the family only. Clear? That's why these are called as family mandals. Clear? First, 8th and 10th are the later addition. And in that, 10th one is the latest one. Clear? Or the mandal which has been added in the last. Clear? Now, when it comes to these family mandals, second mandal has been attributed to Graha Samat and his followers. Clear? Third mandal has been attributed or composed by Vishwamitra. Fourth mandal by Vamdev. Fifth by Atri. Sixth by Bharadwaj. And seventh by Vasisht. Clear? So these are the mandals which has been composed called as family mandal. In these mandals, only the second mandal is being composed by Grihasamat and his followers, not the successor, not the family. Clear? So, followers were there along with some of the family members as well, but otherwise, each of them is being composed by the saint and their successors. That means the family members only. Clear? उनके वंशज. ठीक है? And this is what the family mandal. Different mandals ascribed to different seers. 1028 hymns. Clear? Divided into 10 mandal. और कुछ बार अष्टक में भी divide किया गया. That is not important for our examination. Hardly there is being any question from this particular section. Okay? They will ask question from this particular section, family mandal. Or sometimes they will provide you to match the two. Clear? So you need to remember this particular in this particular sequence only. That if fourth mandal is written attributed to Vamdev, you have to remember this. Okay? So that is what about the Rig Veda. Apart from it, the 10th mandal, which is considered to be the latest edition, is having a sukt, which is called as Purush Sukt. Purush Sukt is written in 10th mandal. Now, when it comes to Purush Sukt, if you have seen the video of religion, in which I have mentioned about a universal creator, there is a universal creator, and from this universal creator, 4 different varnas originated. Clear? From different parts. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, and Shudra. So, a universal creator, and from universal creator, 4 words came into existence. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Okay. Now, Brahmins originated from the head region, Kshatriyas from the arms, Vaishya from the belly or the middle region, middle portion of the body, and Shudras from the feet. Clear? That is what written in Purush Sukta. And because this is what written, responsibilities has been attributed to them as per their varna only. Like Brahmin had, they need to have all the control over the religious and knowledge activities. Clear? Kshatriyas, because they originated from arms, their responsibility is to protect. Vaishya originated from the middle portion of the body, so they have the task to produce, and Shudra they have the task to serve. Clear? So that is what written in Purush Sukta, which is in 10th mandal of Rig Ved. 10th mandal of Rig Ved. Now, the famous Purush Sukta has been done. The universally famous Gayatri Mantra is also written in Rig Ved, attributed to goddess Savitri. Clear? Attributed to goddess Savitri. Rig Ved is sometimes divided into five. There are five divisions: Sakala, Basakala, Asva, Layan, Sankhyan, and Mandukya. So this is what the deep knowledge which is not being asked by UPSC in any of the last 5-10 years, and hardly there will be question from this particular section. But if UPSC goes in the tougher mode in the Vedic age only, this can be a question for you. Clear? The total mantras are around 10,600. In some books, it is written 10,442. In some other books, it is written about 10,552. Clear? So, somewhere around 10,600 mantras are there in Rig Ved. Clear? Not only this, as I have told you, it is the particular saint and his family which composes these mantras or hymns in Rig Ved, and some of them are female composers as well. So Rig Ved were having female composers as well. Some of them are Vak Devi, Biswara, Aditi, Apala, Yami, Urvashi, Lopamudra, and Romasa. So you need to remember these names as well, because if UPSC asks you this particular question, which will be an easy question, कि फीमेल सेंट्स थी या नहीं थी, फीमेल कंपोजर्स थे या नहीं थे, तो अगर थे भी तो कौन कौन थे, अगर वो नाम तक भी पहुंच गया, so you should be easily attempt this particular question. So that is what all the facts which is being there in Rig Ved. Now, after this, the second Ved is the Sam Ved. The second Ved is the Sam Ved. Now, Sam Ved has nothing new. It is a composition of mantras or hymns from Rig Ved only. It has 1603 verses. इतने verses लिखे हुए हैं, and only 75 are original. Rest is being taken from Rig Ved only. And why they have been taken from Rig Ved? To be sung. गाने के लिए. Because these hymns can be sung during the time of sacrifice. during the time of a particular ritual. So that is what the Samved is all about, that it is being meant to be sung at the time of sacrifice. Clear? And not only this, what we can say, the origin of music in India can be attributed to Samved. Clear? Samved को हम अर्लीस्ट टेक्स्ट और अर्लीस्ट कंपोजिशन कह सकते हैं इंडियन म्यूजिक का, जिसमें म्यूजिक के बारे में लिखा हुआ है. क्लियर? एंड द वन हु नोज सामवेद इज कॉल्ड एज उद्गात्री. वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड इट. क्लियर? सो दैट इज अबाउट सामवेद. थर्ड वेद इज यजुर्वेद. क्लियर? नाउ यजुर्वेद is divided in two parts. Shukla Yajurved and Krishna Yajurved. Bright or dark. Now the name signifies. शुक्ल और कृष्ण से समझ में नहीं आया होगा, बट ब्राइट और डार्क से समझ में आ गया होगा. क्या? कि दोज हाइम्स which are simple, easy to understand, clear, will be the part of Shukla Yajurved, and those who are difficult, complex, and might attract negative energy or negative force will be there in Krishna Yajurved. Clear? So Yajurved is divided in two portions. One, Shukla Yajurved, the bright one. Krishna Yajurved, the dark one. Okay? You need to remember it. Shukla and Krishna. It is having magic spells. Clear? As I have told you, dark energy will be there. Magic spells will be there, which is being composed by a certain class of priest, which is being conducted at the time of sacrifices. Okay? So that is what about the Yajurved. Next is the Atharvaved. Now this completes our Ved Trayi. Now we will talk about the fourth Ved, the Atharvaved. The language is entirely different. Clear? And it is the latest one, and important because it also talks about the beliefs and superstitions of that particular time or period. So if question is being asked which particular Ved provides us information about the society and the people of that particular time, is the Atharva Ved. It is being not been included in the category of Veda as well, but over the period of time it has been included. Okay, so that is what about Atharva Ved. Now that completes our Ved. 4 Vedas: Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, and Atharva Ved. Now coming to the second portion of Vedic literature, that is Brahmanas. Now, what are Brahmanas or Brahman literature? Clear? Brahmanas are those literatures which are explanation of Vedic mantras. So, Vedas में क्या लिखा हुआ है? मंत्र, और उसका explanation कहाँ लिखा हुआ है? Brahmanas में. Clear? So, each Ved is having some Brahmanas. ठीक है, हर वेद के कुछ ब्राह्मण होंगे जिसमें पूरा explanation दिया होगा. Clear? So it is to explain the hymns of Vedas. Clear? They are written in prose and they elaborately describe the various sacrifices and rituals. कि किस ritual में क्या होगा, किस तरीके से explanation होगा, उसको करने से क्या होता है, ये सारी बातें कहाँ लिखी है? ब्राह्मण में. ठीक है? Along with their mystic meanings. मतलब भी लिखे हुए. Clear? And each Ved are having several Brahmanas. हर वेद का एक ना एक ब्राह्मण है ही है. जैसे when it comes to Rig Ved, it is Aitreya एंड कौशिकी. ऋग्वेद के ब्राह्मण. क्लियर. व्हेन इट कम्स टू यजुर्वेद, शतपथ एंड तैत्रेय, ये यजुर्वेद के ब्राह्मण हैं. व्हेन इट कम्स टू यजुर्वेद, Yajurved is having one of the highest number of Brahman text. Clear? But most important among them is Jaiminiya. And last one, Atharva Ved is having one Brahman, that is Gopat. Gopat Brahman. Clear? So ऋग्वेद, ऐत्रेय एंड कौशिकी. शुक्ल यजुर्वेद में शतपथ है और कृष्ण यजुर्वेद में तैत्रेय है. सो अगर कंबाइन में क्वेश्चन पूछा जाए कि यजुर्वेद के कौन कौन से ब्राह्मण हैं, तो यू हैव टू मेंशन बोथ, और इफ देयर इज ऑप्शन either of them, you have to mention. Clear? Then when it comes to Samved, there are numerous brahmanas, but important one is Jaiminiya. And when it comes to Atharva Ved, it is the Gopat. Okay, so these are the brahmanas which has been attributed to various Vedas, 4 Vedas. So let's recall them all. When it comes to Rig Ved, it is Aitreya and Kaushiki. When it comes to Yajurved, it is Shatpat and Taittreya. When it comes to Samved, it is Jaiminiya, the important one. And when it comes to Atharva Ved, it is Gopat. Clear? So these are the various brahmanas which are being mentioned in Vedic literature. Clear? Next is Aranyak. Clear? The third part of Vedic literature. So when it comes to Aranyak, Aranyak means the forest. Clear? Means the forest. Now, there is an interesting explanation behind Aranyaks. It is believed that when it comes to Vedas, when it comes to sacrifices, clear? Or when you invoke a particular god, when you call a particular god by spelling, by reciting a mantra, it is believed that God comes in front of you. Clear? आप वो भगवान आपके सामने आ जाते हैं यदि आप मंत्र बोलते हैं. Clear? Now, if something wrong happens, if you recite a mantra wrong, then what will happen? There will be punishment for the same. कि सही नहीं बोला तो कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ तो होगी. Clear? And for that reason, Aranyaks has been composed, that how to pronounce the particular mantra in a correct way. And in order to pronounce it in a correct way, it needs to be recited while being alone or while being secluded. That's why these Aranyaks are written as forest book. Clear? Where? Which includes portions of Brahmanas and their appendices. Clear? Secrecy will be there, mysticism will be there, and some dark portion or magic aspect will also be there when it comes to Brahmanas. Sorry, Aranyakas. Clear? So Aranyak में mysticism होगा. ठीक है? यहाँ पे बात क्या होगी? There will be danger as well. ऐसे ही नहीं कोई भी मंत्र कभी भी बोल दिया जाता है. ठीक है? There needs to be a particular time and a particular way and a particular pronunciation. Clear? So in that way, needs to be done, otherwise there will be danger. So to master it, they have to be studied in forest. Clear? In alone. Mysticism, symbolism hoga. Clear? And Aranyak is believed to be a transition Brahmanas from Brahmana to Upanishad. Clear? Why? Because when it comes to Brahmana, it talks about the karma. And when it comes to Upanishad, it talks about the Gyan. Clear? And Aranyak is somewhere lies in between a transition where secluding from karma, you are talking about the Gyan. Clear? So that is what there in Aranyak. Clear? So Aranyak literature. Now, the fourth and the last portion of Vedic literature is Upanishad. It is a combination of three words, Upanishad, combining as Upanishad. Clear? And it means to sit near the teacher. Guru ke paas baithna. To sit near someone. That is what the meaning of Upanishad. And why to sit near someone? To get knowledge, to get gyan. Clear? And this Upanishad or this gyan is being given by the teacher or the guru to his selected people only, not all. सबको तो पढ़ाया बट ज्ञान किसी मिलेगा, उन्हीं को मिलेगा जो खास होंगे, उन्हीं को मिलेगा जो सिंसियर होंगे, उन्हीं को मिलेगा जो कंसिस्टेंट होंगे. Similarly, success will be attributed or success will come to those only who are regular and consistent in their study, in their practice. Clear? So that is what the Upanishad is all about, where knowledge is being provided to the student through by sitting near someone. Clear? And because it is provided to selected one, it is the secret knowledge as well. ज्ञान की महत्वपूर्ण बातें होगी यहाँ पर. Clear? Now this word Upanishad is considered as philosophic knowledge. Why? Because at that particular point of time it was provided by the guru to his student, but now at the time of in present context we consider these are philosophic in nature. Why? Because वो ज्ञान की बातें जो बड़ी बड़ी बातें थी वो अब क्या हो गया, हमें फिलॉसफी लगती है, बट उस समय तो वो ज्ञान था. ठीक है, इसीलिए उस टाइम के कंटेक्स्ट में और इस प्रेजेंट के कंटेक्स्ट में उपनिषद का मीनिंग में चेंज आया है. इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज वेदांत. इन्हें वेदांत भी कहा जाता है. वाई सो? बिकॉज इन द Vedic literature, first Vedas, then Brahmanas, then Aranyaks, and then Upanishad. And this Upanishad provides the final aim of Vedas. So if we go into sequence, now see, Vedas where hymns has been written. Clear? Then Brahmanas where explanation is written and commentaries on this is being done. Then comes the Aranyaks where some mysticism will be there and how to pronounce, how to recite, and what happens if something wrong happens, it is being mentioned. And finally, in Upanishad, it is the ultimate objective, the ultimate knowledge, which is being written or which is being provided. So that's why this particular part of Vedic literature is called as Vedanta, because here the Vedic knowledge comes to an end. Clear? a total of 108 Upanishads are there, of which famous Upanishads are Jaya, Ken, Kat, Mandukya, Mundak, Chandogya, Brihadaranyak. So these are some of the examples of prominent Upanishads. क्लियर, ये वो प्रोमिनेंट उपनिषद है जो यूपीएससी एग्जाम्स में जनरली पूछता है. Not only this, sometimes UPSC also asks what is written in which particular Upanishad. So when it comes to Mundak Upanishad, Satyamev Jayate is what is being written. Clear? Now, when it comes to Brihadaranyak Upanishad, it talks about migration of soul from one body to another. Clear? Migration of soul from one body to another, how birth and rebirth takes place. Clear? What happens after the soul is being withdrawn from one body, how it enters into another body, all those things is written in Brihadaranyak Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad, it talks about soul, आत्मा क्या है. ठीक है, ये कहाँ लिखा है? छांदोग्य में. And in Kat Upanishad provides us a beautiful conversation between Yam and Nachiket. एक छोटा बच्चा होता है जिसे यमराज ले जा रहे होते हैं और वो यमराज से सवाल पूछते रहता है. ठीक है, और वही कन्वर्सेशन है कठ उपनिषद में. एंड द क्वेश्चंस वर अबाउट डेथ एंड what happens after death, what happens to an individual after his or her death. So that is what the question which is being asked by Nachiket to Yam, and Yam replied patiently. So that particular conversation is there in Kat Upanishad. Apart from it, Jabala Upanishad is also there. Clear? So those are various Upanishads which provides us the information and explanation of various questions. Clear? And because it is philosophic in nature, so now see the question which is being discussed here, death and what happens after death. Talks about soul, migration of soul. Clear? So when these things are talking, it will be a philosophic in nature. Clear? And hence it is called as Vedant. Right? Now, when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to Hindu philosophies, in Hindu philosophy, the first and foremost philosophy is the philosophy of Upanishad. Upanishadic philosophy says, Upanishad philosophy talks about the concept of Brahma and Atma. Clear? Brahma and Atma. And how it mentions it? That now this one is the Brahma, the universal creator, the one supreme power. Clear? And there is the soul, a person, the individual. Clear? Now, this is what Brahma is, and this is Atma. Clear? This Brahma is manifested in Atma because the universal creator has created every human being. So manifestation of Brahma is individual, Atma. And when this Atma mixes back with the Brahma, it is the assimilation. And when this assimilation takes place, this will be called as moksha. Clear? But ऐसे ही नहीं होगा. कैसे होगा? ये होगा जब complete assimilation होगा. अगर complete assimilation नहीं होगा तो ये क्या होगा? It will move from one body to another, your Atma, then to third one, then to fourth one, and migration of soul from one body to another body will take place. And when you will get moksha? When the Atma will finally assimilate into the Brahma. Clear? The universal creator. So that is what the philosophy of Upanishad, and how this moksha or salvation can be attained. Now there are three mechanisms which is being provided for this purpose. One, bhakti marg. Second, Gyan Marg. Third, Karma Marg. So there are three mechanisms to attain this salvation, attain this moksha. First, the Gyan Marg, that is to attain knowledge, knowledge about everything. When you will reach that ultimate truth, Gyan ki prapti ho jayegi. In religion session as well, we have discussed that when Buddha got knowledge of that ultimate truth, he became the enlightened one, he became the God. Clear? He was free from that cycle of birth and rebirth. So similarly, the Gyan Marg, which is being provided in Upanishads, talks about attaining that complete knowledge, that ultimate truth needs to be acquired by every single individual. Then the second one is Bhakti Marg. Bhakti Marg, we'll discuss it later, clear? But Bhakti Marg which says that to devote completely to a particular God, तन मन धन से समर्पित कर दो, ठीक है? जहां आपको कुछ याद ना रहे, आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्या याद रहे? भक्ति. Clear? So that is another mechanism to attain moksha. Why? Because when you will devote completely to God, clear, then God will help you to attain that moksha, the Brahma. When you will devote everything to Brahma, Brahma will help you to assimilate. Clear? That is Bhakti Marg. And third one is Karma Marg. Clear? Karma Marg, when you perform your duties properly, carefully, without hurting anything, according to your prescribed age, prescribed varna, prescribed gender, prescribed ashram. Clear? So when you perform your karma, then it is about the karma marg. Clear? Like your karma is to study. Why? Because you are in which ashram? There are 4 ashrams as well. First, brahmacharya, then grahastha, then sannyas, and vanaprasth. So 4 ashrams are there. So when you have to perform, you are in brahmacharya. Clear? So when you are in brahmacharya, your responsibility is to study. Clear? Grahastha is the second ashram where you have to perform activities differently. You have to enter into a materialistic life, and after entering into materialistic life, you have to fulfill responsibilities towards your family, parents, society, and religion. That is the Grahastha ashram. Third is sannyas, where you renounce the worldly affairs. And Vanprasth, the fourth and the last one, where you go to forest for the rest of your life. So when you perform all those duties, not only which is being provided in ashram, but also those which are provided in your varna, which is being attributed to you as per your gender, which is provided to you as per your caste, then you will attain the salvation or मोक्ष. दैट इज वॉट रिटन इन उपनिषद. 3 अलग अलग तरह के मार्ग है, ज्ञान मार्ग, भक्ति मार्ग और कर्म मार्ग. उपनिषद emphasizes on ज्ञान मार्ग, to sit near the guru who will provide you the teachings, to sit near a teacher who will get you UPSC cleared. Okay, so that is what about the philosophy of Upanishads. Now another philosophy is the philosophy of Shankaracharya. ठीक है, philosophy of Shankaracharya. Now, Upanishad believed that Brahma and Atma are two different things. Brahma created Atma, and the purpose of Atma is to get rid from the cycle of birth and rebirth. And how that will happen? By following three paths: the ज्ञान मार्ग, कर्म मार्ग और भक्ति मार्ग. Either of them. ठीक है, तीनों नहीं follow करना है. One you have to follow. Now, when it comes to Shankaracharya, he was the propagator or greatest exponent of Advait philosophy. Advait is non-duality. Non-duality. Now, what is non-duality? It says that universal creator, Brahma, and Atma, the individual, they are not different. They are the same. Clear? This is being created for this. It is from Brahma only Atma is being created, and Atma is meant to assimilate into Brahma. Clear? So how they can be different? जब ये इसी से बना है, so Brahma and Atma are the same thing. They are not dual. Clear? They are non-dual. They are the same. है? एक तरीके से अगर सिंपल लैंग्वेज में कहूँ, when Brahma took the material form, a physical form, it becomes Atma. Like for example, when universal creator took a form of a man, that particular man became Bhagwan Ram. That particular man became Bhagwan Krishna. Clear? वो क्या है? Incarnation ही तो है और वो ब्रह्म ही तो है. Clear? So, Brahma and Atma are not two different things, but it is the same thing. Clear? And in order to preach this philosophy, Shankaracharya established 4 mutt in India. 4 mutt has been established in India across the 4 regions: north, south, east and west. Clear? So, one has been established in Dwarka, another at Badrinath, third one is Shrangeri, and fourth one in Puri. That is being done by Shankaracharya to assimilate India into one religion, and the Mathadish needs to be from the other region. For example, if a Math is there in Badrinath, the Mathadish or the head should not be from the North India only. It needs to be from some other reason. So that is what Shankaracharya performed, and he talked about the philosophy of non-duality or Advait Darshan. Clear? Philosophy of non-duality. Next is the philosophy of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya. He was born in 1017 AD at Sri Perambadur in Tamil Nadu, and his philosophy is Vishisht Advait. Vishisht Advait. Now, what is this Vishisht Advait? अद्वैत है मीन्स नॉन डुअलिटी. ब्रह्म और आत्मा को एक ही मानेंगे ये भी, ठीक है. बट विशिष्ट क्यों है? बिकॉज ही टॉक्स अबाउट दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर आत्मा, द ह्यूमन बॉडी, इट इज मेंट टू असिमिलेट. ये बनी ही इसमें विलीन होने के लिए है, इन दिस ब्रह्म, बट it is not assimilating itself into the Brahma, rather it is doing bhakti. ठीक है? So, ये जो दो चीजें हैं, ब्रह्म एंड आत्मा, they are one or the same thing, having two different forms, but this particular Atma, its ultimate purpose, its ultimate objective is to reach into Brahma. Clear? But it is not doing this. Why? Because this particular Atma wants bhakti. Clear? So, when it comes to Ramanujacharya, he belonged to which particular sect or which particular movement? He belonged to Bhakti movement. Here he will talk about the bhakti needs to be performed by the individual. Clear? And in bhakti, he belonged to Vaishnav sect. He will worship Lord Vishnu. Clear? Or his incarnation. So that is about the philosophy of Ramanujacharya, which talks about bhakti, non-duality, specific or visist advaitvad. Clear? Next important one is the philosophy of Madhvacharya. Clear? Was born in 1238 AD in Udupi, Karnataka, and he talked about the philosophy of Dvaitvad. Clear? Now, Dvaitvad is just opposite to that of Advaitvad. Now, what Madhvacharya believe that Brahma and Atma are two different things. They are having their own independent existence, and that independent existence is not meant to be mixed into one. Clear? This will not happen because these two are different identity, two different identities. Clear? So that is what the philosophy of Madhvacharya. Okay, so that Hindu philosophies we have discussed, important Hindu philosophies we have discussed. Now, उपनिषद हो गए, वेद हो गए, वैदिक लिटरेचर पूरा हो गया. Now, in order to understand Vedas further, in order to understand Vedas in a more better way, some new portions or some new components has also been created, and that is Vedang. Clear? That is Vedang. Now, it is created to understand Veda in a more better way. They are 6 in number. They are 6 in number. First, phonetics, rituals, metrics, etymology, astrology, and grammar. In Hindi, if you want to remember, Siksha, Kalp, Chand, Nirukt, Jyotish, and Vyakaran. Clear? Now, each of one them is being attributed or is meant for a particular purpose. For example, phonetics, it talks about correct pronunciation of mantras, how correct mantras is being correctly pronounced. Clear? When it comes to rituals, again, the kalpa one. Now, ritual needs to be performed correctly as well. There needs to be certain dimensions. There needs to be certain mechanism to perform a particular ritual, and this kalp is further divided in 3. So, Graha Sutra, Dharma Sutra, and Strot Sutra. Clear? Now, Graha Sutra will talk about those rituals which will be performed in household. घरों में जो कर सकते हैं. Dharma, which is being performed in a more comprehensive and public way. ठीक है, बड़े बड़े यज्ञ, अश्वमेघ type. And Strot, which provides about how it needs to be performed. So, various rituals which is mentioned in Vedas, how they need to be performed, what needs to be done, what type of preparation needs to be done, when to perform, and by whom to perform. Each of these things is being mentioned or explained in Kalp. Clear? Then comes the Chand. It gives the mantra a poetic way, how mantras can be recited in a poetic way, how it can be done. Nirukta is creating new words from the basic words. Here talking about the enhancement of the language or the mantras. Jyotish is about to forecast how different things need to be forecasted. Clear? And Vyakaran to provide a scientific basis or scientific form to a language. So that is what about वेदांग. ठीक है, इसके अलावा उपवेद भी है. ठीक है, दैट इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट, पूछता नहीं है यूपीएससी जनरली, बट आप एक बार उस पर नजर कर सकते हैं. क्लियर. एंड नाउ द लास्ट वन इज द धर्मशास्त्र. नाउ द वर्ड धर्म. क्लियर. व्हाट डज इट मीन? Dharma is something which is being connected with duties, responsibilities, ठीक है, which needs to be fulfilled by an individual. So when it comes to कर्म, ठीक है, हमने उपनिषद में बात की कि कर्म मार्ग है टू अटेन द साल्वेशन. धर्मशास्त्र प्रोवाइड्स रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस फॉर दिस मटेरियलिस्टिक लाइफ. Clear? Now, when it comes to Dharma Shastra, it talks about the duties. Clear? Now, how these duties will be assigned? Duties will be assigned, or Dharma will be determined by the Varna. To which Varna you belong? To by caste, by gender, and by ashram. Clear? So that responsibilities or duties which needs to be performed by individual on the basis of his or her varna, varna, caste, gender or ashram, that is what an individual's dharma. Clear? And when you follow your dharma correctly, you are doing the right कर्म, क्योंकि कर्म ही धर्म है. ठीक है, और धर्म का ही कर्म है. गेटिंग दिस पॉइंट? सो धर्म इज फॉलोइंग योर ड्यूटीज अकॉर्डिंग टू योर स्टेटस. क्लियर? नॉट सोशल इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस कि ज़्यादा पैसा है तो ज़्यादा धर्म कर्म करना है. दोज थिंग्स आर नॉट मेंशन्ड हियर. स्टेटस मीन्स योर वर्ण, कास्ट, जेंडर और आश्रम. Clear? Now they are the law books, as I have mentioned, कि in this physical world, what type of activities you have to perform, all those things are mentioned in Dharma Shastra. ठीक है? Now they are having further divided into 3 subtypes. Dharma Shastra, clear? They are part of Kalpa Sutra only. The one which we have discussed here, the Kalpa Sutra, how to conduct various sacrifices, what needs to be performed, what rituals needs to be done, all those things. So it is part of Kalpa only. Then the Smritis. Smritis are again the law books, which talks about different codes of conduct for the king, for the society, for the individual. Clear? So everything is mentioned in these law books, which are called as Smritis. These Smritis are written in different time, and when they are written in different time, the responsibilities which they have provided are also different. ठीक है, different responsibilities भी होगी. Example is Manusmriti is there, Narad Smriti is also there, Yajnavalkya Smriti. Clear? So there are different type of smritis or different type of law books written in different time, which again talks about following dharma only and how to follow it. कि स्त्री का धर्म क्या है, ठीक है, राजा का धर्म क्या है, all those things are mentioned in this dharma shastras. Dharma shastra or smriti on or their commentaries, the explanation, the commentaries which has been done on dharma shastra or smriti. That is what written in Dharma Shastra, that comes in Dharma Shastra. Though it is not part of Vedic literature, if question is being asked, you will be able to answer it. Clear? So now that is about the Hindu Vedic philosophy. Okay.